What's good, YouTube? Adriannthakidd, and I'm lit. We back in this bit, man. Today we got Is School Slowly Destroying Your Brain? You know what I'm saying? This video is by ASAP Science, you know what I'm saying? I ain't reacted to him in a little minute, you feel me? It's hot in here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now look, like, you know what I'm saying? In school, in like high school, middle school, elementary, you know what I'm saying? I used to have these little like arguments that like school is killing us, you know what I'm saying? It is, bro. You know what I'm saying? 7 cruel hours of our lives, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see if school is slowly destroying our brain, you know what I'm saying?
This episode
school is really a concentration camp.
Dear school, today I want to talk about something that on the surface may seem trivial, but it's actually a huge deal, and that is school start time.
That's insane.
Because when I tell you that you might not only be severely impacting your students' mental capacity and intelligence,
I can't think at 7 in the morning, bro,
but also impacting their physical and mental health, I'm not exaggerating. Let me put it bluntly, school needs to start later, at least for high school and university age students. And I don't mean later as in later in the year, I mean later as in not so freaking early in the morning.
Maybe like 12 o'clock noon. But look, like, you know what I'm saying? School is like around like 6 something to like 8 hours a day. It could be. Some people be having 9 class periods a day. You know what I'm saying? I have 6. I had 6. You know what I'm saying? But the way I see it, it's like if we move the start of the school day, you know what I'm saying, like further, you know what I'm saying? Then like people who do sports and stuff are gonna like get home later and later and later, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, yeah.
But to understand why, we first have to understand sleep. Before a baby is even born, and up to around the first year of its life,
babies are in space.
Spend much of their time in REM sleep, otherwise known as rapid eye movement.
Facts.
This is a stage we dream
it's like moving your eyes while you
REM sleep that babies are building up huge amounts of neural networks and connections in their brain.
That's why they got big eyes.
After this time period, there's a sharp decline in REM sleep and an exponential rise in deep non-REM sleep that continues to rise until around puberty. And this non-REM sleep is actually responsible for fine-tuning our brains. Instead of building up more and more neurons and connections, it actually prunes and makes the brain more efficient and
brain
effective.
prunes?
It's basically taking the mold
that only
that
grapes
life
can
created
prune,
and sculpting it based on your life experiences and interactions. And studies have shown that this non-REM sleep is linked to the development of critical thinking, reasoning, and cognitive skills. Now, some of you might be screaming, reasoning skills, critical thinking in teens? And you'd be right in noticing that teens aren't exactly known for these things. But ironically, the development of the brain during this non-REM increase happens from back to front. Literally, the back
how do you know that,
which
though?
manages
The
visual
brain
and
looks
spatial
weird,
perception develops first, and this growth eventually makes its way to the front of the brain, or the frontal lobe, last, which finally enables critical and rational thought. This is why it sometimes feels that kids' brains aren't exactly working or keeping up with the rest of their development. The thing is, when non-REM is minimized,
kids can tell you something serious. They'll be like, yo, my aunt, man, she just broke her whole back, and then do a cartwheel. It's like, bro, like, what? I don't know.
Or removed, things can go really wrong. In studies of mice and cats deprived of sleep, the brain development is stopped. In fact, many psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar, and major depression are considered disorders of abnormal development. Studies on schizophrenia in particular have shown that there is a 2 to 3
that's like multiple personality
in non-REM sleep in teenagers that suffer from it. To top it all off, teens actually need more sleep than their adult counterparts. So if they're not getting enough hours of sleep, then they aren't going to be getting the
I'm not going to sleep early, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was going to sleep at like
Now, I know what you're asking.
12,
how does this correlate to the time that school starts? Can't teens just go to bed early like the rest of us and get a long enough sleep?
I just can't.
Not, what time should school be starting at? Before we get to that answer, I want to quickly thank today's sponsor, KiwiCo. No word of a lie, KiwiCo is one of our pets designed all different ages, 14 to 1. Get it? A blast. Use KiwiCo.com/ASAP. Is that as kids?
All right, look. Like, the problem is, like, you know what I'm saying, when I was in high school, that's crazy to say, but when I was in high school, you know what I'm saying, I was not going to sleep early, bro. I was going to sleep at like late 12 to 1, maybe 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Then I gotta wake up at 5, get ready, catch the bus at 6. You know what I'm saying? School started at 7. Like, bro, that is not the life to live.
Kids move into puberty, their circadian rhythm completely shifts. Our circadian rhythm is the name given to our internal clock that controls your body's sleep-wake cycle. In other words, it helps define when you feel tired and want to sleep versus when you feel at your most alert. This rhythm is of course different for everyone. We all have our unique chronotype, which is why some people are considered early birds and others are night owls. But
my brother's a night, bro. I've never, bro.
To wake and
night owl is not even the word, bro.
The thing is, one of the biggest factors defining our circadian rhythm is
this dude will wake up at 6 o'clock at night, stay awake
not only need the most sleep
until 10 o'clock the next morning.
Early schedule. They become sleepy early in the evening and wake up earlier than adults typically. But as we hit puberty, the timing is shifted forward past even their parents by as much as 2 to 4 hours, meaning we want to stay up much later. And this change is seen across all adolescents regardless of culture or geography. Where a 9-year-old will typically fall asleep around 9 p.m., by the age of 16, that's actually often the hour of peak wakefulness. Asking a teenager to go to bed at 10 p.m. is like asking an adult to go to sleep at 7 p.m. In the same vein, waking up at 7 a.m. for a teen is the same as waking up around 4 a.m. for an adult. And I'm pretty sure all of us don't want to be seen at 4 a.m., let alone have
my mom
to
be
use
waking
our
up at
brains
like
at 4 a.m.
5
parents
every
believe
day.
that teens are
Something
making
like
a
that.
conscious decision
No, she be waking up at like 3 in the morning.
If they just went to bed earlier, they wouldn't be so tired. But the truth is, even if they do go to bed earlier, chances are they'll just be lying in bed awake until their body naturally winds down. But not embracing this biological timing, on top of the fact that teens need more sleep
where did he
to
get a
begin
bed
with,
from?
risks developmental brain abnormalities and mental illness, and we have experimental evidence to show it. Later start times increase class attendance, reduce behavioral and psychological problems, and decrease substance and alcohol abuse. Longer sleep is directly correlated to better grades in teens across the board and higher IQs. And studies on identical twins show that by the age of 10, the twin with the longer sleep pattern has superior intellectual abilities with more expansive vocabulary too. And schools that have tested later start times have seen
if you sleep
a
longer,
shift. A
you
school
get
in Minnesota
better
that changed
vocab
from
words,
a
bro.
7:25 a.m. start to 8:30 a.m. found that verbal SAT scores rose by over 150, while math SAT scores went up by over 50. And while we talked about the importance of non-REM quality sleep in young adults, that's not to say REM sleep isn't also really important. Studies in the 1960s that deprived young adults of REM found that by the third day of extreme deprivation, participants started to exhibit signs of psychosis. They were anxious, moody, and started to hallucinate and became paranoid. REM also becomes longer and more prominent in the later parts of your sleep, meaning if you cut your sleep short, you're disproportionately impacting the amount of REM you're getting. Life expectancy has also been shown to increase.
I was cutting my sleep short every night, bro, my senior year.
The number one cause of death in teens is road traffic accidents, which have been linked directly to sleep deprivation. When one county in Wyoming changed their start time from 7:25 a.m. to 8:55 a.m., they saw a 70% decrease in traffic accidents in the affected age group.
Bro, because my school started at 7:20, bro. We got out at 1:40.
The prevailing socio-evolutionary theory right now is that it allows teens and young adults to start gaining their independence from their parents, but in small increments.
Bro, I had specific classes that I would go to sleep in, bro. I would be like, all right, first period, maybe. Second period, no. Third period, maybe. Fourth period, no. Fifth period, yes. Sixth period, yes. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro. I'm tired, bro.
For several hours a day, kids can operate on their own or with their peer group away from adults, but it's not a full removal from parental supervision. Thanks. During this stage, they get to practice becoming their own individual. The truth is, only a century ago in America, most schools started around 9 a.m. and 95% of students woke up without an alarm. Now in the US, 80% of schools begin before 8:15 a.m. and 50% of those start before 7:20 a.m. Not to mention the increasing impact of TVs, computers, and phones in the bedroom. It's no wonder kids are more tired than ever. At the end of the day, the evidence is overwhelming that later start times around 9 a.m. or so are not only preferred by students, but lead to improvements in basically every single metric we're measuring their progress by in school. In the words of Dr. Walker, who wrote the book Why We Sleep, which was the primary source for this episode, we're too often focused on what sleep is taking away from our teenagers without stopping to think about what it may be adding. I hope we can change. I hope we can break the parent-to-child transmission of sleep neglect and remove what the exhausted, fatigued brains of our youth are so painfully starved of. When sleep is abundant, minds flourish. When it's deficient, they don't. I hope this video has been informative and useful, especially if you are a parent or a teacher or someone who manages a school.
Nah, but I definitely been through that system.
Send this to your teachers right now. Send this to your administrators and let them know it's not a joke. Sleep is a huge part of our lives and so important for our intellectual capacities and our physical health. And they would do well to think about that when they start your school. Thanks again for watching.
Hey man, W video, you know what I'm saying? Shout out ASAP Science, W ASAP Science. I think my teacher, I think I was taking an online course that talked about like sleeping and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it touched on some of these topics like REM sleep. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's it, man. So school is slowly destroying our brains. You know what I'm saying? We don't need school. You feel me? At least graduate high school, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then you can sleep. Thanks. All right, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this vid. If y'all did, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe for more, man. Follow my social here at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Adriannthakidd, I'm letting them out a bit, man. Gang.